You can start the story in New Hampshire, you can start the story in California. It is a sprawling, interconnected web of anecdotes that sort of unbelievably connect.
Police say the hunter discovered the bodies wrapped in plastic in a barrel.
If you tried to write this as a fictional story, I think people would say it's too unbelievable. But it's the way it happened.
Police were 15 years into the case and still very much at step one.
Police had a few initial theories, but they really didn't pan out. No one in the community seemed to know anything about who these people might have been. No one seemed to be missing.
Who are you? Who are the victims? And who's responsible for this?
Tips would come in, or people would have ideas. You'd exploit those until they just simply ended, and then the case would essentially go back on the shelf again.
No one has been able to identify the bodies.
The mystery bothers residents today.
It's cold. This is the definition of a cold case. That changes in the year 2000. A state trooper by the name of John Cody is sort of informally assigned the Allenstown case to look into.
The first thing that I did was actually go to the evidence repository to see exactly what the barrel looked like. The barrel was dark in color on the inside and rusted on the outside. It was very surreal that a mother and daughter were actually inside the barrel itself, disposed of like common trash. And those things don't happen in New Hampshire. I made the decision to go out and try to locate the actual area that this barrel was found in Bear Brook State Park. You're torn between the beauty that you're seeing as you're walking and the knowledge that this area is actually where two victims were disposed of.
In 1985, this is the area that the hunter found the barrel. As I came back out, I noticed just a terrain difference here off to the left, and it kind of drew my attention, so I started to walk out towards that area.
I was just about to wrap it up for the day, and there was like a hump in the terrain. It wasn't something that was natural. As I'm walking towards it, you're trying to talk yourself out of that it's probably nothing. I saw the black plastic, and that's when my heart started to race a little bit. I peeled back a little of the plastic, and there was a bright white substance inside. I lit it up with my flashlight, and I remember distinctly seeing the outline of a bone. I started to think this doesn't look good. And then when I peeled back the plastic a little more and illuminated it with my flashlight, it was very evident that this was a human bone. There was a million things going through my mind. Was this an area that somebody was dumping their victims? Did we have a serial killer?
So what John Cody finds in this second barrel are two more victims.
Two more children were found in another barrel. All were victims of homicide.
Two little girls, one estimated to be between the ages of 1 and 3, the other between the ages of 2 and 4. Like the other victims, they were killed with blunt force trauma to the head and stuffed in these barrels and wrapped in plastic. So what was an adult female and a little girl is now an adult female and 3 little children. And the obvious place that takes investigators is to imagine that this was a family.
It certainly was a big turning point in the case. There had to be a missing persons report out there somewhere. Unfortunately, they quickly ran out of leads, and somewhat surprisingly, we're not finding any missing persons case that matched.
How can you have a mother and 3 daughters, a whole family, just disappear?
Who out there is looking for them, and where are they?
There is a neighbor
There's a sibling, there's an aunt, there's a pediatrician. Somebody knows who these kids are.
If this could happen to these people, it could happen to somebody else around here.
There's something so wicked going on right now in this small town.
To understand how this case is going to get solved, we have to go back to California. There, a woman named Eunsoon Jun is introducing her new boyfriend to her family.
Eunsoon's probably the closest friend I've maybe ever had. We met in a ceramics class at a community center in Richmond, California.
Eunsoon was in her mid-40s. She worked as a chemist. She was an immigrant from Korea.
Eunsoon was a free spirit. We always said she was like a bohemian. She loved to explore religions, explore people, different cultures.
This woman went around the whole world by herself. But she was like full of almost opposite contrasts. She was real uneasy about trying to meet guys.
She was lonely. She didn't find the love of her life. And I think that opened her up to be vulnerable to people who would take advantage of her.
When there was this new boyfriend, a guy by the name of Larry Vanner, she wants to introduce him to the family, but right away it doesn't go well.
I opened the door and saw his face. I had a chill run down my back that I've never in my life ever had before. And he stuck out his hand to shake my hand, and I saw the long, dirty fingernails that just creeped me out.
Larry would just grab and gobble up everything on the table and belch and eat more, and then he'd go sit on the couch and I'd just shake my head.
Just a few months later, Eunsoon was becoming more and more estranged from her family and also her friends. Rose would call the house, and Larry would make a different excuse each time for why Eunsoon wasn't there.
He would say, well, she's busy taking care of her mother, or she was going to get some therapeutic help. He would say, she decided she didn't like me anymore and didn't want me in her life. Who could believe him for 1 second?
Rose ultimately grew quite suspicious of that she issued an ultimatum to Larry.
I want Eunsoon, not you. I want Eunsoon to tell me that she's done with our relationship, or I'm going to get the sheriff involved.
Ultimately, what she did was call the police.
What the detectives don't realize is that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
All right, Larry.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.